Great job there by Raja Bell, of course. Again, you can check him out on The Ringer. Always great when he appears on the show, giving us some perspective there on what's going on with Ja Morant, which is the big story, unfortunately, in the NBA right now. Heat back in action tonight. You guys know that. Heat and Hawks looking for that short little two-game sweep and trying to gain some distance between them and the 8th place Atlanta Hawks. But a lot happened in the NBA over this weekend. You guys know that. So every Monday, we have our NBA weekend rundown. That's courtesy of Brunt Insurance and Financial Services. That's right. From Pensacola to the Keys and beyond, Brunt Insurance and Financial Services. They deliver that comprehensive insurance and financial solutions that are tailored to your needs. Since 2013, Brunt Insurance specialized in home, auto, life insurance, a whole lot more. I've been using Greg Brunt and his team at Brunt Insurance for about 10 years now. I got my home insurance with him, so I know I got that peace of mind. God forbid something happens. Storm, flood, I don't know. But the point is, I don't have to spend my nights awake wondering, what am I going to do if something happens? Because I trusted Greg Brunt and his team at Brunt Insurance to make sure that my home is covered. Don't just go out onto Google, put in home insurance. No. The market is really confusing out there. Let Brunt Insurance, the whole staff, sort it out for you. Fully licensed. They know the area. I already told you, Pensacola to the Keys and beyond. BruntInsurance.com, 954-589-2204. That's 954-589-2204. Like I said, I use Brunt Insurance. I've been covered by Greg Brunt and his team for about 10 years from now. So you know that if I'm using them, it's good enough for you guys as well. He's taking care of me, all right? 954-589-2204. If you need affordable care, you need coverage for your automobile, your motorcycle, your boat, hey, that's Brunt Insurance as well. Again, don't just leave it up to yourself and go all willy-nilly deciding which insurance to go with. No, let Brunt Insurance and Financial Services make sure that you're covered. They'll know what you need. You'll tell them everything you're looking for, and they're going to make sure you get the best coverage out there. BruntInsurance.com, 954-589-2204. Let's get to our full NBA rundown from the weekend. Friday night, we got a few things to go over here. How about Boston? Boston's struggling right now. You know, for most of this season, we're sitting there saying, all right, Boston Celtics running away with the Eastern Conference. Yeah, not so much. Boston now finds themselves 2 back in the loss column of number 1 Milwaukee. First on Friday night, Boston blew a 28-point lead at home to the Brooklyn Nets.
Jaylen Brown with 33, his 17th 30-point game of the season. Bridges connects. Mikal Bridges is blossoming in Brooklyn. 38 tonight.
Yeah, Bridges had 38, Brooklyn comes all the way back, won that game by 10. That's a bad loss for the Celtics. Phoenix beat Chicago that night by 21. Why are we mentioning it? Well, the Suns are rolling now with Kevin Durant. And also on Friday, the Kings aren't going away. Domantas Sabonis was at the free throw line at home late against the Clippers.
Sabonis puts Sacramento out in front by 1. George for the win. Clippers held on to the lead. A turnover and then free throws for Sacramento. And the Kings pull away 128 to 127.
So the Kings, they're not going away, man. The Kings, 37-26. They're number 3 in the West. You know, I don't think enough people talk about the Clippers being a massive disappointment this year. They're a game over 500. They're 34-33, 8th in the Western Conference. They very likely could be a play-in team. But the story there is the Kings, a 128-127 win over the Clippers. The Kings may be for real. How about that? Well, on Sunday night, last night, the big game was Phoenix and Dallas. That's right. Why was that a big game? It was Durant versus Irving. And these teams don't like each other, as evidenced Devin Booker, Luka Doncic, they don't like each other either. Well, Late in the game, it was a 2-point game. The Mavericks, Luka Doncic, he missed essentially a bunny.
Here's Luka Doncic driving, spinning on a Kobe, getting deep, creating space, missed the shot! Durant gets the rebound. Doncic was upset he missed the shot, but he didn't foul Durant until another second went off the clock. And now Durant will shoot free throws, and Devin Booker and Doncic go face to face.
Well, you know what?
Is Wainwright has to step in at all here. You see Durant getting the rebound after the miss by Doncic, then he commits the foul.
Yeah. Now just watch, he's upset. Now you can see right there. You see Booker, he's yapping at him right now. And that caused that incident right there.
Yeah, and after the game, Luke was like, yeah, it's real easy to talk after you've won, you know, when you're in the lead there. And if you're watching the video, Luka ran, like, once he heard whatever Booker said, Luka got right up in his face. Luka loves that shit. He is about that. He loves the trash talk. I think he's the wrong guy to be going after with that kind of stuff. He loves it. I hope these teams play in the playoffs. They hate each other. Devin Booker talked about it after the game as well. Well, you know, you talk about everybody being friends, being friendly. Yeah, I like it, Devin. This is what I like. I like you guys not liking each other. All the hugging and kissing. Makes me want to vomit. I want more of this kind of stuff. So Phoenix won that night, last night, 130 to 126. The Suns right now, 4th in the West there. They're a couple back of 3. They're a couple ahead of 5, so they're kind of entrenched in that spot right now. Dallas, they're number 7 right now. A big disappointment since the Kyrie Irving trade. Major disappointment. They're only a game over 500. They're 33 and 32. Milwaukee last night beat Washington 117-111. They picked up an extra game. We'll get to Boston in a second. Why is this interesting? Milwaukee beating Washington. Who cares? Well, in the closing seconds of the game, Giannis Antetokounmpo, he was 1 rebound shy of a triple-double.
Wizards running out of time. Kispert off the mark. Another rebound there to Giannis. He's going to finish 1 rebound shy of a triple-double. And that'll do it. Oh, he got it. Does that count? It's got it, right?
Ricky Davis style.
Excellent reference there by the color analyst. That was Ricky Davis style. Deshaun Stevenson back then. He didn't like it when Ricky Davis did. He ran up to him. He shoved him. No one's going to do that to Giannis. Very cheap. Giannis just very politely threw the ball off the glass in the closing second. Gets the rebound. That's his 10th rebound. Cheapest triple-double you're ever going to see right there. And finally, last night, game of the night. It was on ESPN as well. Double overtime, closing seconds. The Knicks lead the Celtics by 2.
This is the set he ran, hitting that game-winning 3 against Philadelphia. Tatum kicks. Horford! No! That's it! The Knicks outlast the Celtics in Boston. 131-129 the final.
So the Knicks hang on and win a thriller, huge game from Emmanuel Quickley. The Celtics now drop a game and a half out of first place in the Eastern Conference. The Knicks now have won 9 in a row. Very unlikely the Heat are going to catch them. The Heat are 4.5 games back of the Knicks. The Knicks are 1 back of number 4, Cleveland. The Knicks are looking like a team that could win a first-round series. I hate the Knicks. It's always F the Knicks. But look, I do believe league's better when the Knicks are good. It's been forever, but it's fun when the Knicks are good. You want the Knicks to be good so the Heat can play the Knicks in the playoffs when they're good, and you can get some kind of animosity. I love it. So anyway, the Knicks, they've won 9 in a row. I don't love that because I hate the Knicks. It's always F the Knicks, but you got to give them a little bit of credit there. They're looking like a team that could win a first-round series. So that right there, some of the big games from over the weekend, that's your weekend NBA rundown. As always, on Mondays, brought to us by Greg Brunt and Brunt Insurance and Financial Services. Make sure if it's your home, your car, your motorcycle, your automobile, you need life insurance, Brunt Insurance and Financial Services, bruntinsurance.com. I use them. You're going to use them too. 954-589-2204. That's 954-589-2204. Let's get to big deal or not a big deal. You know how we do it here. We wrap up every show with big deal or not a big deal. If we haven't been able to get to it so far in this show, we'll make sure we get to it here to close. Big deal or not a big deal. So this weekend, First time ever, Netflix live stream comedy special, Chris Rock. Chris Rock, very polarizing special this weekend. You heard me mention it there with Raja. He hasn't seen it either. A lot of people loved it. A lot of people didn't. He's had a year to come up with the jokes about Will Smith. I saw Chris Rock about 6 months ago. Actually, probably a little more than that. He didn't touch on Will Smith. Wasn't doing any of it. He was going to get paid to do it. And he got paid this weekend, and he talked about Will Smith. So I'm going big deal. I want to watch that Chris Rock special. That's a big deal. Big deal or not a big deal? Saturday night, Jon Jones made his return against Cyril Gane, who had been undefeated. Jon Jones' heavyweight debut. He submits Gane in the first round. And afterward, in the post-fight press conference, one of the reporters asked him about Francis Ngannou tweeting at him.
Do you have a response to Francis Ngannou referring to himself?
Francis is a big old...
Oh, it's a very bad word there. Jon Jones using the P word. It rhymes with ussy. That's a very bad word right there. I'm going big deal. Jon Jones being back is obviously good for the UFC. You're kind of waiting. All right, he's going to screw it up again. He will definitely screw it up again. But Jon Jones being back in the UFC, that's a good thing. He's super polarizing. He's maybe the best ever. If Francis Ngannou can eventually come back to the UFC, he left over money and that kind of deal. That's a major, big money fight. I'm going big deal. Big deal or not a big deal? I saw a trailer this morning for the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. It's animated. It's like a younger version of the Turtles. Seth Rogen, I think, it's his movie. I would imagine I don't think he's one of the voices, but I think he's like the executive producer maybe. It looks awesome. Looks really fun. I'm going big deal. It's coming out in August. I'm into this new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Big deal or not a big deal? Last night, AEW Revolution. Make sure you're listening to It's Still Real to Me. A new episode drops tonight. We're going to recap last night's pay-per-view show. But in the main event, 60-minute Iron Man match where MJF, Top Jew, he retains his title against Bryan Danielson. Well, early on in the match, MJF ran out of the ring. He was stalling. He was killing time. And he hopped the rail into the crowd. He's yelling at fans. At one point, there's this woman, this mother. She's standing. Apparently, it was a cup of tequila. He took the cup. He dumped it on her son. The kid looked like he was maybe like 10, 11 years old. Dumped. Now, you thought it was water. Doesn't matter what it was. I think it was tequila. Dumped it on her son. And apparently, the kid was very upset. They ended up bringing the kid backstage. MJF didn't interact with him because MJF, he lives that kayfabe life. He's a heel in and out of life, all right? But they brought the kid backstage, tried to make it right. He met some of the wrestlers. The kid was very upset, apparently. Dumped tequila on the kid. That's a big deal. That's a heel. I got no problem with it. I really don't. AEW does not promote themselves as a family show. There's a lot of blood. They do not try and make themselves out to be a family show. I think you have to understand that when you're a parent, and especially if you're a parent and you're sitting that close to the ring, you have to tell your kids, you have to let them know what's happening here, and that it's all part of the show. I don't have a problem with what MJF did there. I like that AEW, though, did try and comfort the fan. That's a good job out of everybody involved. So I'm going big deal. I love that stuff. Finally, big deal or not a big deal? The New Orleans Saints, they have a new quarterback. He is called Derek Carr. Derek Carr signs with the New Orleans Saints. That means the New York Jets, they're going to be all in on Aaron Rodgers. I think that was their plan anyway. Why'd you let Derek Carr leave the first time? I think they want Aaron Rodgers. I think it's a major mistake, so I'm going big deal. Aaron Rodgers, you don't know if football's in the forefront of his mind. The conversation he's having right now about potentially retiring and doing douchebag darkness retreats, we're going to have that same conversation in a year from now. Derek Carr, maybe not as good today as Aaron Rodgers, but in a year from now, he may very well be better than Aaron Rodgers, and he's certainly going to be playing football for you much longer than Aaron Rodgers. I think this is a major bungle by the Jets. It's a good job by the Saints. I'm going big deal. And that right there is another edition of Big Deal or Not a Big Deal. Yes! What a way to start the week! Make sure you're listening to a new episode of It's Still Real to Me if you're a wrestling fan. We'll be recapping last night's AEW Revolution. Excellent show. Again, I'm riding high right now. I had a great weekend. Loved hosting Busted Open on SiriusXM Fight Nation Channel 156. Appreciate all the nice words that a bunch of you guys have thrown at me. If you're a new listener, new subscriber, because of my appearance on the Levitard Show, because of hosting Busted Open this weekend, you guys are awesome. Really appreciate it. Make sure you like, you rate, you comment, you do all that stuff. Thanks, of course, to Raja Bell for joining us today as well. Can we start the show tomorrow with a Heat victory over the Hawks from the previous night and getting fired up about a Panther game against the Vegas Knights? Is it possible? Can we start Tuesday morning like that? Thanks to everybody involved in putting together a great show today. You guys were all excellent. We'll talk to you on ZASLOW Show 2.0 tomorrow. You know what that means.